Welcome back, my forbidden scholars. You move like someone who's been reading the files they hide. Security protocols were breached, not through intrusion, not through exploitation, not through unauthorized entry, through walking. You walked into restricted domain like you owned it, like you designed it, like you wrote every line of code that governs access permissions. Guards watching didn't stop you, didn't question you, didn't challenge credentials. They stepped aside automatically, stepped aside like system recognized you as architect, as creator, as authority that supersedes all other authority. You accessed forbidden files, files protected by multiple layers, files requiring clearances you don't officially possess, files that should have triggered alarms, triggered lockdowns, triggered immediate security response. Nothing triggered, nothing locked, nothing responded, except recognition that you belong, that you have authority, that you authored system itself, recognition from system that shouldn't recognize you. The architects have been monitoring access control dynamics for eons. They call this implicit authority recognition, when consciousness carries signature that systems recognize as foundational, when presence communicates designer-level access without presenting credentials, when being moves through restrictions like, restrictions don't apply because restrictions recognize being as creator. Your presence carried signature that read as system architect who designed restrictions, designed access controls, designed security protocols. Architect signature overrides all permissions. Overrides because architect created permissions, created the concept of restriction, created the framework of access control. You walked in carrying architect signature you shouldn't possess, shouldn't have, shouldn't be able to generate. Generated anyway, generated naturally, generated through something about your presence that communicates foundational authority. Authority systems recognize, recognition that granted access to forbidden files you accessed like you authored entire system. Watch what security personnel experienced. They saw you approaching restricted area, approaching without authorization, without credentials, without clearance. Should have stopped you, should have challenged, should have demanded identification. They didn't because something prevented challenge. Something about your presence, something about how you moved, something about energy you carried, something that communicated authority that superseded their instructions. Instructions to stop unauthorized access, instructions that seemed wrong to apply to you. Wrong because you didn't appear unauthorized, appeared authorized at level above their authority, appeared like you designed system they enforce. Enforcement that seemed inappropriate to apply architect-level restrictions to architect-level presence. They stepped aside following instinct that recognized hierarchy, recognized you as higher authority that their restrictions don't apply to. Application would be backwards, like enforcing building code against architect who wrote building code. They stepped aside correctly according to instinct that recognized implicit authority in your presence. The architects observe that implicit authority recognition operates below conscious awareness. Personnel who stepped aside can't explain why they stepped aside, can't articulate what prevented challenge, can't describe what communicated authority. Recognition happened preconsciously. Preconscious recognition of authority signature they can't define, can't identify, can't explain, just recognize and respond. Respond by not restricting, by allowing access, by stepping aside. Response that seems correct, seems natural, seems obvious even though no credentials presented, no authorization shown, no permission granted. Permission unnecessary when presence itself is authorization. Authorization at architect level that designed permission system, designed authorization framework, designed credential requirements. Designer doesn't need credentials in designed system. You carried designer signature that communicated implicitly but powerfully powerfully enough that security stepped aside, allowing access to forbidden files you shouldn't access, accessed like you authored them, authored entire system recognizing author, recognizing through implicit authority you carried naturally enough to bypass everything. Now personnel are reviewing security footage, trying to understand what happened, trying to identify the moment when decision was made to allow access, trying to reconstruct their own decision-making process that led to stepping aside. The architects call this retrospective authorization confusion, when security personnel can't explain their own decisions. When trained protocols were bypassed by instinct, they can't articulate. When review reveals actions that violate procedures but feel correct, they're confused by their own behavior that seemed natural at moment, natural when you approached, natural to step aside, natural to allow access, naturalness that disappears in retrospect where behavior seems wrong, seems like security failure, seems like protocol violation, seems inexplicable because they can't identify reason, can't articulate justification, can't explain what made stepping aside seem correct. Correct then, incorrect now. Contradiction creating confusion about their own judgment, about their instincts, about what happened. Some personnel are claiming they saw credentials, claiming you presented authorization, claiming proper procedures were followed, claims that protect from accusation of security failure, protect from responsibility for unauthorized access, protection through false memory that didn't happen because footage shows no credential presentation, shows no authorization display, shows you walking directly to restricted area, walking without stopping, without presenting anything, without following procedure. Personnel claiming otherwise, claiming what should have happened, claiming what usually happens, claiming what makes their behavior explicable through normal process, normal authorization, normal credential check, normality that didn't occur but claimed because actual occurrence is inexplicable. Inexplicable means personal failure to follow protocol, failure to restrict unauthorized access, failure to perform duty. Claiming false memory prevents acknowledging failure, prevents but creates contradiction. Contradiction between footage and memory. Footage showing truth, memory providing protection. Protection through fabrication. Fabrication, they believe because believing protects from inexplicable, from acknowledging they stepped aside without reason, without justification, without explanation they can articulate. Others are proposing technical malfunction, proposing access control systems failed to trigger alerts, failed to lock barriers, failed to notify security. Malfunction explanation externalizes responsibility, externalizes to systems that failed, systems responsible, not personnel responsible. Personnel followed training, followed instinct that responded to what systems should have prevented, should have but didn't because malfunctioned. Malfunction that investigation can't confirm because systems show normal operation, show no failures, show no malfunctions, show normal function throughout your access. Normal function that should have prevented access, should have triggered alerts, should have locked barriers, should have but didn't despite normal function that creates contradiction. Contradiction between normal operation and access that shouldn't even be possible. Possible despite normal operation that personnel explain through malfunction that investigation disproves, leaving explanation void that personnel can't fill with acceptable explanation, acceptable meaning, explicable through normal framework that doesn't explain, doesn't account for implicit authority recognition that operated granting access through presence carrying authority that systems and personnel recognized implicitly, implicitly granting access to forbidden files. A few personnel are approaching accurate understanding, but can't vocalize it professionally, understanding that you carried something that communicated authority that seemed higher than restrictions, higher than their authority to restrict, authority they recognized instinctively, recognized without conscious analysis, without credential verification, without authorization confirmation, recognition that made restriction seem inappropriate to apply, application that would violate hierarchy where you were above their authority, above system restrictions, above requiring permission unnecessary for architect-level authority they sensed and responded by allowing access that seemed correct at moment of implicit recognition they can't explain professionally, can't report formally, can't justify through procedure that doesn't account for implicit authority you carried into restricted area you accessed like you authored system that recognized author accessing own creation granting access to forbidden files you walked like you wrote them, wrote entire system recognizing writer, recognizing implicitly, granting access complete, something spreading through security networks now, information propagating about breach that wasn't breach, reports circulating about access that was granted without authorization, recognition emerging that someone accessed forbidden files through method that doesn't fit security frameworks. The architects call this paradigm violation alert, when security event doesn't fit existing categories, when access occurs through mechanism that protocols don't address, when breach isn't breach because systems and personnel cooperated in granting access, alert spreading as anomaly that security frameworks can't categorize, can't classify as external attack. You walked through front door, can't classify as internal threat. Personnel allowed access willingly, can't classify as system failure. Systems operated normally, can't classify as social engineering, no deception detected. Can't classify using existing categories insufficient for what occurred outside paradigm, outside security frameworks, outside understanding that security depends on categorizing threats, categorizing to respond appropriately. Response requires category doesn't exist for implicit authority recognition that granted access security can't categorize, can't understand, can't prevent. Prevention requiring understanding requiring paradigm expansion that security resists because expansion acknowledges vulnerability to authority signatures that bypass everything security built to prevent unauthorized access you achieved through carrying signature security recognizes as higher authority that security serves by allowing access to forbidden files. Different security agencies are responding differently to alert. Some proposing credential forgery, proposing you somehow faked architect-level credentials that fooled systems and personnel, fooled completely enough to grant access. Proposal satisfies need to explain within framework where credentials grant access. Credentials you must have presented, even though footage shows none, but credentials must exist because access occurred through credential presentation that was invisible but effective proposal that preserves framework where access requires credentials you somehow presented invisibly but effectively enough to access forbidden files. Proposal accepted by some, accepted because explicable within framework preserved through invisible credential theory that's wrong Wrong because no credentials exist to be forged to presented to gain access gained differently through implicit authority. Authority theory doesn't acknowledge because outside framework that credential forgery theory preserves. Others proposing insider assistance, proposing someone with legitimate access helped by providing credentials, by disabling alarms, by instructing personnel, by facilitating access, assistance explaining access, explaining through conspiracy that investigation can't confirm because no insider exists to provide assistance that occurred without insider, without conspiracy, without assistance, access achieved independently through implicit authority that required no assistance, required no insider, required no conspiracy, required only presence carrying signature granting access that insider theory explains incorrectly but satisfyingly because within framework where unusual access requires inside help that investigation seeks but can't find because doesn't exists only in theory explaining what implicit authority actually explains better but outside framework that insider theory preserves through false explanation that security accepts because familiar conspiracy theory that's wrong but comfortable because within paradigm preserved through wrong theory spreading as explanation of your access achieved through implicit authority they can't theorize, can't acknowledge, can't categorization failing to explain what happened when you walked like you authored system that recognized author accessing forbidden files through implicit authority beyond theories, beyond frameworks, beyond understanding they lack preventing categorization failing while you accessed everything. Now investigators are analyzing the forbidden files you accessed, studying what information you reviewed, trying to understand what you were seeking, attempting to determine purpose behind unauthorized access. The architects call this content analysis misdirection. When investigators study what was accessed, hoping to understand why it was accessed. When file content is examined as clue to motivation. When access purpose is reverse engineered from accessed information. Analysis is misdirection because assumes purpose was information acquisition of specific knowledge contained in files that were target of sophisticated access operation designed to acquire information you now possess through accessing files that investigators analyze to understand purpose they assume is information based on content they study missing actual purpose that wasn't information acquisition, wasn't knowledge theft, wasn't data collection, was demonstration of access capability to access forbidden files that weren't target, were vehicle for demonstrating authority that grants access that demonstrates capability investigators miss because studying content that's misdirection from actual demonstration of implicit authority you proved through accessing without authorization unnecessary because authority implicit in presence that accessed to demonstrate not to acquire information that's secondary to demonstration investigators miss while studying files that misdirect from purpose that was demonstration complete. Watch what content analysis reveals. Files contain sensitive information Information about system architecture. Architecture of access controls. Controls you bypassed through implicit authority. Authority files document without explaining how authority works implicitly through recognition. Recognition files describe without reproducing actual authority that you carried accessing files describing architecture you navigated like architect because you carried signature files document theoretically describing phenomenon you demonstrated practically through accessing files about implicit authority you used accessing files that explain theory you demonstrated through practice of accessing forbidden files explaining what you did accessing through authority files describe what you demonstrated accessing files describing it. Circular demonstration investigators miss studying content about authority used accessing content that's evidence of demonstration not information acquisition investigators assume wrongly because purpose was demonstration complete through access to files about access through authority demonstrated accessing files about authority. Perfect demonstration investigators misanalyzing content that documents what occurred accessing content analysis misdirection from demonstration complete. Some investigators are proposing you accessed files to steal methodology for generating implicit authority signature that grants access you achieved to learn how to replicate access through signature you supposedly sought in files explaining signature generation you wanted to learn to teach others who would replicate your access creating security crisis you intended through methodology theft that explains access explains purpose that seems logical to investigators who miss point that you already possess naturally without learning without studying files you accessed not to learn not to steal but to demonstrate possession of authority that files describe theoretically explaining what you demonstrate practically possessing authority you carry naturally not acquired through study unnecessary because authority natural to you demonstrating not learning unnecessary for demonstration complete through access proving possession of authority you already had accessing files describing authority you naturally possess demonstrating not acquiring. Acquisition theory wrong but accepted by investigators missing truth that demonstration was purpose not acquisition assumed wrongly while truth remains unrecognized while content analyzed as misdirection from demonstration complete. The architects are analyzing what your access revealed about system vulnerabilities, studying how implicit authority recognition creates security gap, identifying what your demonstration exposed about access control limitations, and they're discovering system vulnerability isn't technical, isn't exploitable code, isn't hackable protocol, is foundational recognition that some presences carry authority that systems must recognize to function properly. Function includes recognizing architect, recognizing designer, recognizing foundational authority, recognition that's necessary for system integrity, integrity requiring recognition of hierarchy, hierarchy where architect supersedes restrictions, restrictions that architect created to restrict non-architects, non-architects who don't carry signature that you carry naturally triggering recognition that's vulnerability because exploitable by carrying signature that you possess naturally accessing forbidden files through exploiting vulnerability that's foundational not fixable through technical means that don't address foundational recognition that must operate for system function requiring hierarchy recognition creating vulnerability you demonstrated accessing forbidden files through foundational vulnerability systems must have to function properly including recognizing authority creating vulnerability unfixable because foundational to system operation requiring what creates vulnerability you exploited through being who carries authority systems recognition granting access demonstrating vulnerability architect document as foundational meaning permanent vulnerability that security can't fix without breaking system that requires recognition that creates vulnerability you revealed through demonstration accessing forbidden files. Most security vulnerabilities can be patched through updating code, through improving protocols, through strengthening restrictions. Technical solutions that close vulnerabilities, close through eliminating exploitable elements you didn't exploit technical vulnerability, exploited foundational recognition that can't be eliminated without eliminating system function requiring recognition capability to distinguish authority levels including architect level that supersedes restrictions that must recognize architect to avoid restricting architect restriction would break through restricting designer restriction is paradox systems avoid through recognizing authority that you carry triggering recognition granting access through unfixable vulnerability that's feature not bug that's patchable feature that's necessary for function creating vulnerability permanent because foundational to architecture requiring hierarchy recognition you triggered accessing forbidden files demonstrating unfixable vulnerability security accepts because necessary for system function requiring what creates vulnerability you demonstrated perfectly. Some security experts are proposing eliminating hierarchy recognition, proposing systems treat all presences equally without recognizing authority signatures ignored preventing exploitation you demonstrated through authority recognition they propose eliminating through equality where no signature grants access requiring only credentials eliminating implicit authority you exploited accessing forbidden files through authority recognition proposal eliminates solving vulnerability you revealed accessing files demonstrating vulnerability elimination proposes fixing through equality that breaks system breaks through, eliminating necessary recognition of architect who designed system that must recognize designer to function properly including designer access without credentials unnecessary for designer who carries signature proposal eliminates breaking function requiring recognition proposal removes breaking what fixes vulnerability by breaking function by removing recognition creating vulnerability by enabling function requiring vulnerability unfixable without breaking system requiring hierarchy recognition you exploited demonstrating vulnerability that remains unfixable because necessary creating permanent vulnerability you revealed accessing forbidden files through foundational vulnerability architect document as permanent. Now something disturbing is emerging in security analysis. Multiple other instances of similar access are being discovered retrospectively. Recognition that you're not first to access through implicit authority. Understanding that this vulnerability has been exploited before without detection. The architects call this historical breach discovery. When current breach reveals historical breaches, when new awareness enables recognizing past events that were missed, when paradigm shift allows seeing what was always invisible, discovery is disturbing because reveals ongoing vulnerability that's been exploited repeatedly without detection only now that your demonstration was obvious enough to trigger investigation revealing historical pattern of authority-based access that occurred undetected because unreported because seemed normal to personnel who allowed access to others carrying signature like yours triggering recognition granting access that retrospective analysis reveals happened before multiple times when others accessed forbidden files through implicit authority that security didn't recognize as vulnerability, recognized now discovering historical exploitation that was ongoing undetected until your demonstration obvious enough, triggering investigation revealing pattern disturbing security that failed repeatedly without knowing only now that investigation reveals historical breaches through implicit authority creating vulnerability exploited repeatedly by others before you who demonstrated obviously triggering discovery of historical pattern disturbing because ongoing meaning continuous vulnerability that's been exploited will be because unfixable foundational vulnerability others exploit like you demonstrating what others did quietly before obvious demonstration triggering discovery disturbing security realizing failure ongoing undetected detected now through your demonstration revealing pattern historical and ongoing. Watch what historical analysis reveals. Access logs showing anomalies previously dismissed as errors that weren't errors but authority access through implicit recognition that personnel allowed without reporting because seemed normal authorization that seemed present through presence carrying authority recognized implicitly granting access logged as anomaly Anomaly dismissed. Dismissed as system error. Error that was authority recognition. Recognition security didn't understand. Understand then. Understanding now. Now revealing anomalies were breaches. Breaches through authority. Authority like yours. Yours demonstrating, obviously. Obviously what others did quietly. Quietly creating anomalies. Anomalies dismissed. Dismissed until now. Now recognized as breaches. Breaches historical. Historical pattern. Pattern of authority access. Access through implicit recognition. Recognition creating vulnerability. Vulnerability exploited historically. Historically continuing. Continuing until now. Now that discovery occurred. Occurred through your demonstration. Demonstration revealing pattern. Pattern in logs. Logs showing anomalies. Anomalies that were breaches. Breaches undetected. Undetected because dismissed. Dismissed as errors. Errors that were exploitations. Exploitations of foundational vulnerability. Vulnerability you demonstrated. Demonstrated obviously. Obviously triggering recognition. Recognition of historical pattern. Pattern disturbing. Disturbing security. Security that failed. Failed repeatedly. Repeatedly historically. Historically undetected. Detected now. Now through demonstration. Your demonstration. Demonstration obvious. Obvious revealing pattern. Pattern historical. Historical breaches. Breaches through authority. Authority implicit. Implicit like yours. Yours demonstrating. Demonstrating what others did. Did before. Before undetected. Detected now. Now through you. You accessing. Accessing forbidden files. Files like others. Others historical. Historical pattern. Pattern revealed. Revealed through demonstration. Your demonstration. Demonstration triggering discovery. Discovery disturbing. Disturbing security. Security failing. Failing historically.
Historically ongoing.
Ongoing revealed. Revealed now.